Are you an ecologically minded landscaper, excavator, environmental consultant, or tree services company? Do you want more customers who pay, stay, and refer? Well, you're in the right place. This is Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead. And at the end of this episode of the podcast, I'm going to share with you an excerpt from a 2015 mastermind program where we had ecologically sounded contractors on a call. And we were discussing how to grow their business. And I'm going to summarize some of the things that we talked about here so that you'll have the benefit of these insights that are just as practical today as they were so many years ago. So, customers who are interested in sound, ecological, and environmental friendly solutions tend to be affluent customers. They tend to be people who see the news about climate change, they see the impact in their community, they're outdoor enthusiasts, they're excited about improving the environment, but they're a little bit scared. Now, this message extends to solar contractors, HVAC companies, and home services contractors because the mainstream media scares people with climate change, but doesn't offer any practical solutions. And so the reason I was on a call in 2015 talking with landscapers and excavators and environmental consultants and tree services companies and solar contractors and HVAC companies and home services companies is because they and companies like them offer practical solutions to the fears associated with climate change. See, as a political motivation, the talk of climate change helps pass laws and build incentives, and it doesn't really do anything. Even the Paris Accord, if implemented as written today, would not actually change the planet's temperature. Now, it's quite possible that there are other factors other than human influence. I'm a very practical business person. I'm not here to discuss the merits of climate change. What I'm here to do is help you as a contractor or as a services provider fill a need in a community for affluent homeowners who want climate-friendly solutions more than ever before. They're scared. They don't know what to do. And in fact, they don't even know what a good environment looks like. I have a situation we've talked about for years where I removed the trees from the property. I did earthworks. So the retaining walls were replaced, and then there were certain characteristics of this implementation that moved it towards a Virginia natural grassland because that's the habitat that biological conservationists and the Department of Resources and the experts that I consulted with recommended for my area. And in fact, it was put in place to lower my costs and to improve the ability to maintain the property as well as property value. And all of my neighbors, I had to get permission from my neighbors to implement this project. And for 4 years, the city has been on my butt about the project because one neighbor complains. In fact, this one neighbor, I did the design for that neighbor. And so their landscape is exactly the same as my landscape, except they chose ornamental grasses rather than native grasses. And they have other considerations that were done. Like, for example, their backyard is not as visible as my backyard is. But my point being is that the high income professional, the business owner that had this services done and then later paid $22,000 in landscaping costs to have an ecologically sound landscape put in place, doesn't know what ecology looks like. And in fact, I have had conversations with their landscaper and with other people who service the property, and they agree, and I didn't even bring it up, that that people don't know what they're looking at. So, for example, they had bamboo in their yard, and they asked a licensed applicator of herbicide to do something to remove the plant, and the recommendation was a treatment program over multiple weeks. And they said, no, we just want you to spray it and kill it. Well, because this property, this particular batch of bamboo was within 250 feet from a creek, the licensed applicator knew he could not do certain things to that thing. And that's why he recommended mechanical removal. And the homeowner did not want to do that, told the contractor no. And then guess what I see the next week? I see them bring out some other non-licensed applier of herbicides to just drench the area with herbicides. There's a giant brown patch in the yard. Yes, it did kill the bamboo, but no sooner than a few months later was the bamboo back, because again, the right solution in the customer's mind cost too much. It wasn't the right, it wasn't quick. It wasn't within their constraints. and it turned out to be a big mess. And so that's where you come in as a professional with the right selling system, with the right approach, can help these individuals not only do what is required by law when it comes to the application of herbicides and pesticides, but you could apply, like, for example, my bamboo system to remove the bamboo without any herbicide or pesticide at all, or in fact, design the landscape so that the bamboo is clumping bamboo, for example, because people do like the design of bamboo, but they put in that running bamboo, and next thing you know, it takes over their yard. But again, many of the professionals mentioned earlier in this excerpt, they have asked about interest in permaculture design, regenerative agriculture, holistic land management, because the chemicals are getting expensive, because they know the solutions are causing cancer, because they know it's harming wildlife and delicate ecosystems. And so when they invest in a master naturalist program, when they invest in a permaculture design program or regenerative agriculture, and they educate themselves, which, by the way, is far more than your consumers are going to ever educate themselves, I commend the activity, but how do we reimburse or rebuild or gain a return on that investment? Again, at the end of this, I'm going to make you the same offer I made the folks in 2015 with your permission. And so let's get into 6 key points that you need to know in order to increase your income, because again, you can't just go out and do this for free. You're not a charity, but increase your income associated with ecologically sound solutions. So first off, contractors who practice earth care to reduce modern problems tend to work in areas of energy use, landscape failures, and in erosion control. Now, these aren't the only areas, because again, I've hired an ecological consultant or an environmental consultant to do the pre-work necessary to remove an oil tank from underground. And then, of course, in the business applications, there's all kinds of things like this, how the building's designed. So there's architects involved, there's general contracting work. But again, these 6 principles help position you in the marketplace so you get these affluent customers, so you can bridge into commercial contracts and ultimately deliver solutions that have long-term value. Now, first thing I'm assuming is that you're not one of those pump and dump contractors who understands that the solution is not sustainable, who hasn't invested in the ecological education or even have an interest in the outdoors, and is kind of like the spray and pray contractor. And if you're that type of person, pay close attention, because I'm going to show you how there's actually more revenue over a longer period of time with ecologically sound solutions. If you're also one of those run and gun landscapers, for example, who isn't licensed, who doesn't have professional equipment or anything like that, I'm not talking to you. You need to step up your game, and you need to get into the professional services world, because folks who implement these 3 points, and by the way, the original mastermind, we spent 2 hours on the phone. We went over all the details. We did case studies with individuals on the call. This is an excerpt of that larger program, of which I can't find all the recording, but eventually we'll find the recording. But anyway, let's get into those 6 points. First off, you want to deliver solutions that matter. If you spray and pray, if you go in and just run and gun, for example, a solution that matters would be a green lawn that reduces temperatures around hardscapes so that you have a more even environment, and overall your landscape plants survive. So a lot of landscapers will just plant new stuff every year, where if you plant perennials or you have dry landscapes or wet landscapes, you plant appropriately, those solutions are going to deliver beauty year round, and they're going to be less maintenance over time. Now, if you're a landscaper, you might be concerned about that because it means less work, or per se, it actually turns into more referrals. Because when visitors to an affluent home see the beautiful low water rock landscape, they desire these things. When they see appropriately sized trees that don't require nightmares with tree services companies or huge prices to remove those trees, they feel better about that environment. When the environment is holistically designed to work with the landscape, you're going to tend to get more referrals. Now, this means that you can price higher up front because these people are pre-sold, but also the solution has increased and improved the lifestyle of the person living in the home, and so they're more likely to refer. Now, this can also go for solutions like, for example, under pavement heating or porous pavement So we've talked about this in a number of videos, the pavement that allows water to flow through the asphalt. It could mean never having to shovel your snow again, basically driving in and off the property without having to ever shovel snow or plow snow. This works for long driveways and short driveways. What it is an ecological solution that designed the driveway in order to use solar energy or geothermal or some kind of radiant system underneath the pavement in order to eliminate a job that would have to be done year after year, month after month. It reduces the costs associated with the risk of slipping and falling. You're going to have better vehicle access for the teenage driver, better vehicle access for the elderly couple. Again, deliver solutions that matter. So we're not selling the solution that you provide. We're selling the aspirational desires of the homeowner. So landscape that looks good year round increases property values. A driveway that never has to get shoveled reduces the cost of equipment that's necessary to maintain that. It saves the homeowner time. There's safety factors. So again, we're not selling the solution as much as the aspirational lifestyle, the money saving, the increased value of the home, the lower maintenance, the impression that you make upon people when you hold a party at your house. See, this is very important. Now, how do you know what needs these folks have? Well, we're going to look at the practice, and number 2 is the practice of consultative services. So you're not going in there and just throwing on some gutter guards and moving on. You're building a consultation to understand the needs of the homeowner, and then so they don't want to clean their gutters out. Well, they wouldn't have to clean their gutters out if they hired a gutter cleaning company that actually showed up year after year, which could be a service you add on to your landscaping. But why are the trees putting leaves in the gutters? Are the trees oversized for the home? How do they use their home? What are they interested in doing with their home in the future? Will they be downsizing in the future and wanting to sell their home to a new homeowner, and they want to have the maximum appreciative value of their property? See, so rather than running and gunning and coming in there and saying, oh, we'll mow your grass, you develop a package solution that includes, now I hear what you're saying, that you don't do all these services, but you can subcontract in the right people to do what is necessary for the homeowner. And so now you're a home management company or a home services company. And then every time they have a need, you're getting a slice of that. Now, it could be referral relationships. It could be joint ventures. There's a lot of ways to handle it. But again, because you're doing a consultative service and you've come in to help them with ideas and concepts, and you've helped them make good buying decisions, you now are the what they call the toll booth position between the needs of affluent homeowners and the services that are typically provided. So in this way, you can actually screen vendors for their ecological profile, for whether they're using harmful chemicals, whether their chemicals or their applications or their methods are pet safe, whether they're taking into consideration the design of the land. So if you're a permaculture designer, if you're an architect, if you're a lead in any of the companies I described earlier, again, the consultative approach is going to help you understand what motivates these customers, and then you could really end up with a share of customer. And now, if you have a copy of my Establish Instant Credibility, you could be doing presentations at country clubs, you could be doing presentations at community associations, you could be doing presentations at community groups or the farmers market, and reach these high affluent customers long before they see the big corporate ad that's basically spraying manufacturing waste on people's yards, or basically spraying the chicken waste from commercial factory farms on people's yards. A lot of folks don't understand this stuff. Now, so number 3, you want to position yourself as an expert, and we're going to start using a little bit of information. We're going to market just slightly differently so that we're educating customers about why your approach, not your solution, because again, we have a consultative approach. You can deliver any solution that they want. You're going to own the share of customer, but why you're the expert and the advisor and the go-to person, the only person they should approach in the marketplace about your topic of interest. Positioning yourself as an expert gets you customers faster who can pay, stay, and refer. Now, it's easier for a customer to refer somebody who is an expert in their field than it is to, just basically hire the guy that happens to show up. And we know there is a lot of landscapers which is basically a guy in a pickup truck with a mower showing up in your neighborhood. If you're going to own that customer, they have to feel comfortable that doing business with you is the best solution. And so you're going to position yourself as an expert. There's a variety of ways of doing that, but let's get into number 4. Number 4 is you're going to sell against the chemical industrial complex. Like I said earlier, and what you understand from these regenerative methods, from these permaculture design methods, is that very often the solutions in the marketplace are recycling chemical waste, and they are putting on people's lawn toxic and harmful chemicals. And the homeowners don't know this because there's a giant and I won't go through all the ag companies, and I won't go through all the seed chemical and biological companies, and I won't go through all the pharmaceutical companies who benefit from people spraying garbage on your lawn, stuff with high metal content, stuff that harms animals and pets. I want you to instead sell against that industrial complex because this is waste they can't get rid of otherwise. So they said, well, how are we going to make money from it? And instead look at commercial solutions that you can establish in a community, such as recycling systems. So you can actually take, we have a landscape client from a while back, and they would take all of the grass and the leaves off the lawns. So there were homeowners that didn't understand that those leaves are protecting the grass over the winter. They didn't understand those leaves are creating food for birds. They didn't understand those leaves had other habitat in them. So he'd carefully remove all that, and he'd take it to a property that he owned, and he'd put it out on the property so that he had the beneficial insects. But he would also take all of the grass clippings and the leaves that were mowed up and turn it into compost, and then sell the compost back to the homeowners to use as top dressing when he did his seeding. And so what his clients ended up with is thick, beautiful, lush lawns that were typically green all year round. We're in the Mid-Atlantic region, so we do have seasons, but it is possible to have a nice looking lawn year-round. And he sold into them package programs where he'd come back every month throughout the year. Now, during the winter, he'd do snow removal, but during the spring and summer, he'd do the appropriate land management or the appropriate household management that was within the scope of his skills. Now, again, selling against the chemical industry, he can come in and bring the studies that show that this type of chemical or this type of herbicide is causing cancer. So why would you want us to spray that on your lawn? And here's and you'll start educating them about the new solutions. See, number 5, you don't want to fall for the climate change hype, but you do want to understand the realistic hazards that are happening. Frog habitat, stream health, air quality, noise pollution. All of these things are harming individuals, yet we continue to invite those services into our homes because as a consumer, most consumers don't know about appropriate solutions. They don't understand the solutions because they haven't been educated. And your role is not to educate them and make them advocates, but instead to help alleviate that fear by plugging in your solutions. Again, we're not selling the solution, we're selling the elimination of fear and hazard through properly managed homes. So we're not selling them the climate doom, we're being helpful in selling them, again, number 6, practical solutions. So what's more practical than a reducing radon gas, a building foundation that's secure and dry, low input landscaping, roofing technologies that keep your house warm in the winter and cool in the summer, energy efficient buildings, especially for you building contractors out there. There's building solutions today that could eliminate the need for HVAC. There's designs. We've talked about that with our courtyard designs. So these 6 points aren't the only points we discussed in the original mastermind, but it's again, we're determining value to the community, and rather than creating advocates, rather than creating permaculture designers, rather than hyping people up about the potential for solutions, we're teaching them in a way to get consulting and service clients who you can basically serve, who you can deliver your products and services. Now, maybe you don't have a biologist on staff, but you go and offer a consultation and you bring in a biologist as a subcontractor. Many of them are available 1099. And then you have your 12 steps that you go through to evaluate a property, and you look at maintenance needs, and you look at household needs, and you look at recreational needs with the property, and you look at lifestyle, and you look at recreational spaces on the property. And next thing you know, you've got bigger homes, more affluent customers. You're also helping them with their hunting land or their farm properties, their homesteads, and this means you have clients who can pay a premium. You have clients that have bigger transactions. You have clients who have social networks. So rather than creating activists, you're offering practical solutions, but the income opportunity comes that these people are connected. So again, you could end up at the country club. More than being a member of the country club, you could be the resident expert on the golf course maintenance, as your company is contracted on the consulting side, but maybe you're not set up to do the maintenance side. You could subcontract people in for that. You're going to be more on estate homes, and you're going to be delivering ecological and environmental solutions to affluent families, whether it's broad acreage or small acreage, it doesn't matter. This is a position in the marketplace that creates affluence in your business, that grows your business. Now, again, you can bring food security to communities, and you can build a garden-like paradise in the community, but you're not a nonprofit. So you're going to have to offer valuable services. There's 6 points that I shared here is the foundation to doing this. Now, again, we're going to leverage for the largest market opportunity. And it doesn't mean you can't serve just the regular middle class family. It's okay. Yeah, they hire landscapers too. They hire basement foundation and dryer basements, and they remodel and different things. You can still serve those people. But now in your marketing campaigns, you have demonstrations of credibility and authority showing that you're the provider for the big high class neighborhood down the street. And so anybody who's aspiring to be in that new high class neighborhood is going to look towards you versus somebody else. They'll be willing to pay the premium price. This also bridges you to commercial opportunities where you're serving schools, businesses, even manufacturing facilities who have outside pressure when it comes to climate change to implement these kinds of solutions. So now, if you have questions about what I covered here today, you want to visit us at www.prosperityhomestead.org. What you're about to hear afterwards is the closing of the 2015 mastermind call. And like I said, I pulled the highlights out of that call, the transcript of that call. And if you want more details, we can definitely meet. But the key themes here is building a community, ecological solutions, and food security through example. There are more and more affluent homes who have chickens and gardens and basically like a homestead setup. And they need contractors who can help them with the infrastructure and the design, and they need contractors who can do the actual work. You're the right person to be doing this. So again, if you're an ecologically minded landscaper, excavator, excavation company, environmental consultant, tree services company, solar contractor, HVAC company, home services contractor, there's an opportunity and a different approach. It's not the same approach. It's not an approach you're familiar with, but it's a different approach covered by these 6 techniques that are going to help you get results. I look forward to hearing from you. Again, I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. And just a reminder, the next segment is from 2015, still valid today, and is still a powerful way to supercharge your business as you start delivering community value, as you start building communities through ecologically minded solutions.
This is value to your community. Now, I see a lot of permaculture consultants going out there teaching and creating other permaculture consultants. I'd rather you do that inside your business. That's what Prosperity Homestead is about. Now, if you want to get involved as a member, we have a small number of people that we accept. And the reason we only accept a small number of people is because I want equity interest in your business. I can't be in every community. I can't have a farm in every part of this country or part of the world. But what I can do is share with you my strengths. See, that's what you're doing for your customers. You're sharing with them your strengths. And your strengths is permaculture. Your strengths is sustainable living. Your strengths is erosion control without heavy construction costs. Your strengths is water management. Your strengths is healthier livestock, better forests, better, higher quality food. My strength is marketing and business development. I'll connect you with land grants. I'll connect you with local resources. I'll connect you with financial resources, like in Virginia, for example, the tobacco money. If your family has been displaced by the changes in the use of tobacco, if you are recovering from the agricultural mess that was commercial farming, there's money available to you. Why not use it to build communities, to build a livelihood for you? And there's all kinds of folks out there as examples. We'll recycle a lot of the materials that are already working. You'll hear interviews with people who are doing this right. My property alone, I recycled 2,700 pounds of organic materials, mostly coffee grounds, turned it into compost, turned it into more vegetables my family could eat. We gave a lot of it away. A lot of it was canned up. A lot of these are demonstration sites. A lot of it was bartered and traded. But there's so much more possible, and you can benefit from the marketing I'm doing for people here. It's exclusive geographically, so we limit the number of people in the program because we don't, obviously you can't have like 10 people in a community all doing this, because you'll run out of customers that are willing to step away from the commercial poisons that are put on yards and stuff today. And it will take, you're not going to have perfectly green yards the first time around, because you got to take care of the underlying issues, soil health, fertility, things like that. So you may you may top out at 100 customers in your community. And that's okay, because when you do this right and you stack in these layers and you get the resources lined up and you do the right partnerships, you can earn more than a living and have prosperity with your homestead. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. There's more information about our programs below, and talk with you soon. Oh, and a free consultation for 15 minutes. I know people have been asking.